Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nadia, and here with my team we will be presenting about Nescafe Malaysia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this analysis, we are examining how languages and images in advertisements construct identities. We chose Nescafe because it is a global brand with a strong local presence in Malaysia. Advertisements that we chose from 2019 to 2026 are especially relevant because they are native to YouTube, multimodal, and interactive. Moving on, our analysis focuses on two main questions. First is about identities. What identities are Nescafe constructing for themselves? In our research, we found three findings. First is cultural identity, where Nescafe acts as a cultural staple. Second is consumer-oriented identity, where Nescafe contributes to everyday convenience, affordability, and they are always close to their consumers. And the third one is consistent brand identity, which shows that despite everything, throughout the years, Nescafe is always there for us. Second research question is about ascription identities. What identities are Nescafe constructing for their consumers? The first one is vocational identity, where Malaysians are shown as a productive workforce. For instance, workers, staff, and riders. The second one is national identity, where Malaysians represent a unified community across races and regions. And the last one is relational identity, where Malaysians are portrayed as a family-oriented community. And the last one is relational identity, where Malaysians are portrayed as family-oriented, connected and bonding through coffee moments. For our study, the data comes from Nescafe Malaysia's official YouTube channel, where we picked 15 advertisements published between 2019 to 2026. These advertisements feature various of Nescafe's products, such as Nescafe Classic, 3-in-1, Coffee Kedah, and White Coffee. We chose this period because it reflects important themes in Malaysia, especially post-pandemic resilience, national unity, and family life. The type of discourse we analyze is digital discourse because these advertisements, they combine language, visuals, and music to construct identity. By focusing on these 15 advertisements, we can see how Nescafe consistently represents itself and Malaysians in everyday context. Before analyzing the advertisements, we set a clear data selection criteria to make sure our study was focused and reliable. First of all, the advertisement must feature Malaysians because our research is about identity in the Malaysian context. Second of all, the advertisement must be posted on Nescafe's official YouTube channel. This is to ensure authenticity and avoid unofficial content. Third of all, the advertisement must show real human interaction, such as families, so that identity construction can be observed. And lastly, the advertisement must contain linguistic elements, for example, slogans, motivational phrases, and dialects. Finally, the advertisement must include visual representations such as uniforms, traditional attire, or family settings, because visuals are key to discourse analysis. By applying these 5 criteria, we narrowed down to 15 advertisements from 2019 to 2026, which reflect resilience, unity, and everyday Malaysian life. Next, we move to our data analysis procedure, where we analyze 15 advertisements from Nescafe's official YouTube channel. Our method was to look for indices, the linguistic and visual elements that signals identity. For instance, slogans like Anda Boleh or Kekal Kental. Second, choice of words like Kekal Bersemangat Bersama or Tak Ada Kompromi. Third is songs and lyrics that are dedicated to campaigns like Labor Day. And fourth, visual elements that represent traditional attire, family breakfast settings, or even uniforms for workers. After identifying these indices, we group them into themes. For instance, advertisements with uniforms or work-related settings are related to vocational identity, while advertisements that show relationships like family or marriage settings are related to relational identity. And lastly, advertisements with slogans that are related to unity were related to national identity. We then compared which themes occurs the most in our findings. Therefore, this concludes my part of presentation. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
For research question 1, I will discuss the identities that Nescafe creates for itself through its advertising discourse. Based on our analysis, we identified 3 main identities that Nescafe projects, and I will explain 2 of them. The first identity constructed by Nescafe is that of a cultural staple brand that is deeply embedded in Malaysian society and everyday life. One example can be seen in the phrase, "Anda tidak bersendiri kerana kami setia di sisi," which means you are not alone because we are always by your side. Another example is the expression "ngopi dulu," which has become a familiar social phrase associated with taking a coffee break and connecting with others. This identity can be explained through Hall's theory of cultural identity. Yang, Zhao, and Liu 2021 highlighted how Hall explained cultural identity that emerged from shared history, collective experiences, and a sense of belonging among members of a community. Through its discourse, Nescafe positions itself not merely as a coffee brand, but as part of Malaysians' shared experiences. The brand associates itself with moments that many people can relate to, such as celebrating achievements, coping with challenges, spending time with family, or simply starting the day. By doing so, Nescafe becomes integrated into everyday cultural practices and routines. From a social perspective, this identity reflects Malaysians' multicultural harmony. Regardless of ethnicity or background, coffee is often enjoyed as a common social activity. Nescafe used this shared practice to present itself as a unifying brand that connects different groups within society. From an economic perspective, the brand portrays itself as an everyday product that is accessible and regularly consumed. Rather than being viewed as a luxury item, Nescafe is represented as a familiar part of daily life and work routines. This strategy is also used by other brands that connect themselves with cultural identity. For example, Coca-Cola, that frequently associates itself with family gatherings, celebrations, and festive traditions. Similarly, Nescafe positions coffee consumption as a meaningful cultural experiences rather than merely a functional act of drinking coffee. Therefore, through its discourse, Nescafe creates the identity of a cultural staple brand that belongs to and grows together with Malaysian society. The second identity constructed by Nescafe is that of a consumer-oriented brand that prioritizes consumers' needs, emotions, and experiences. This can be observed through phrases such as, "Dengan Nescafe, kami memilih biji kopi yang disemai dengan kasih, kegemaran Malaysia, keluaran Malaysia, kebanggaan semua." These expressions emphasize care, quality, trust, and consumer satisfaction. Instead of focusing solely on the product itself, the discourse highlights how consumers benefit emotionally from choosing Nescafe. This identity can be understood through the concept of emotional value. According to Shi et al. 2022, emotional value refers to the positive emotions and subjective benefits consumers gain from purchasing or consuming a product. These emotions contribute to stronger consumer brand identification, where consumers develop a personal connection with the brand. By emphasizing warmth, confidence, and pride, Nescafe presents itself as a brand that understands and supports its consumers. The message is not simply that the coffee tastes good, but that the brand genuinely cares about delivering a positive experience. Socially, this identity helps create a sense of solidarity and community among consumers. The brand portrays itself as a companion for modern lifestyles, especially for students, workers, and family who rely on coffee as part of their daily routines. This approach can also be observed in Gardenia, which positions itself as a brand that prioritizes consumers' needs through messages about freshness, quality, and reliability. Similar to Gardenia, Nescafe emphasizes care, trust, and consumer satisfaction to build stronger emotional connections with its audience.
Next, we found the Nescafe represents itself as a consistent brand. This can be seen through repeated phrases such as 85 tahun, which highlights its long history, and Kegemaran Malaysia, which shows its strong connection with Malaysians. The ads also use motivational words like semangat, tekad, and kental to create a consistent message of resilience and positivity. Visually, Nescafe repeatedly shows morning routines, family moments, workplaces, and familiar Malaysian settings. The iconic red branding and the presence of different generations also reinforce a long-standing identity. According to studies by Sazan Yusof and Karimon, Nescafe consistently used motivational language and culture imaginary to strengthen its brand identity. In terms of context, the brand is positioned as part of everyday Malaysian life while also presenting itself as a reliable choice for workers and family. Compared to earlier campaigns that focused mainly on heritage and daily routines, recent advertisements combine these themes with motivation and sustainability while still maintaining a consistent brand image. For research question 2, Nescafe construct Malaysian as a productive workforce. This shown through slogan and hashtag such as Ngopi Dulu, Semangat, Kau Memang Kuat, Anda Boleh, and Kekal Kental. These expressions encourage resilience, determination, and hard work. The visual also support this identity by showing airport staff, delivery riders, farmers, office workers, and small business owners. According to Rahman and Hassan, motivational slogan in advertising helps construct consumers as a strong and determined individuals. In terms of context, the ad reflect Malaysian values of hard work, perseverance, and responsibility. They also highlight the importance of workers in supporting families, communities, and the economy. Compared to earlier campaigns that focus more on family and daily coffee habits, recent advertisement place greater emphasis on productivity, resilience, and achievement, while still keeping coffee at the center of everyday life.
Next, I will be analyzing how national identity is constructed in Nescafe advertisement. So, national identity refers to the way that a brand itself ties to the collective belonging of a nation. And Nescafe achieved this through both linguistic cues and visual cue. Linguistically, slogans such as Kegemaran Malaysia and Malaysia Pekena Nescafe directly ties the product to national pride. And the phrase suggests that drinking Nescafe is not just a personal choice but also a shared cultural act that unites Malaysian. And visually, the ads portray multicultural attire such as Malay baju kurung, Chinese cheongsam, and Indian sari. These symbols shows diversity and inclusivity, and by showing Malaysians of different ethnic groups together in one frame, Nescafe reflects the government narrative of unity, which is one nation despite diversities. For example, in the 2017 National Day advertisement, children of various ethnic backgrounds are shown sitting together by a badminton court. And this imagery invokes harmony, cultural familiarity, and the idea that social interactions transcend racial and religious differences. And comparatively, Carvalho et al. 2019 noted that in the United States, brands use phrases like "Buy America" to incite patriotism. And similarly, Ahmad and Muhammad Yusuf found that Petronas advertisement employ multicultural imagery to reinforce unity, and Nescafe aligned with this global strategy by adapting it to Malaysia's unique multicultural context. Now, let's look at relational identity, which refers to the way that advertisement construct meaning through family and social bond. Relational identity is built through visual indices and linguistic warmth, and Nescafe advertisement often portray family homes, mothers preparing breakfast, fathers helping daughters, and family sharing coffee moments together. And these images highlight responsibility, care, and togetherness. And linguistically, the slogan "Apa cara pun sempurna untuk kami," meaning whatever the way, it's perfect for us, emphasizes partnership and inclusivity. And the use of kami, which means we or us, reflects collectivist values, which shows that coffee is not just an individual preference but a shared experience. Scholarly comparison reinforce this. BB et al. 2024 note that Coca-Cola uses kinship terms such as dada and nani to create warmth, and similarly Nescafe construct relational identity through linguistic closeness and visual intimacy, and Ahmed 2023 found cultural differences in family portrayals. In India, the father figure is central due to patriarchy, while in the UK, family advertisements are more neutral. And Nescafe Malaysia, however, emphasizes harmony and inclusivity, portraying both parents and children as equal participants in family life. In conclusion, for research question 1, we have covered Nescafe self-representation with re-identity, which are cultural identity, which refers to coffee as a Malaysian cultural staple, consumer-oriented identity, which means that the brand are aligned with everyday needs and lifestyle, and also consistent brand identity, which means that Nescafe is reliable, authentic, and globally recognized.
For research question 2, which are the consumer identities, we have identified also 3, which first, vocational identity shows Malaysian as hardworking professional and gig workers, and also relation identity, which shows coffee moments as family, friendship, and social bonding. And lastly, we have also covered national identity, which shows Malaysian as harmonious and united citizens. That is all from us. Thank you.